Firstly, Vinod, thank you so very much for doing this. Now, before we start this episode, am I right in saying that the heavy metal community all over the world, we tend to speak a common language, and the common language is the passion of extreme music. And I very strongly feel that, when you talk about heavy metal and death metal in all honesty, it is a very strong drug, which I think, helps us in great times, bad times, and particularly in shit times when we have quite often. And I think, in some way, it's part of our lives and it affects us, in be it work, be it sports, and absolutely everything. And but I do feel that what you are doing is absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely, George. I think we are a community and we like a tribe. I mean, it's like birds of the same feather flock together.
Mhm.
That's what I can state. But yeah, I mean, it brings us together. We have a common commonality between all of us. I mean, whether it's death metal, thrash metal, or metal as a community in itself is like a tribe. I think. I mean, we have the same intentions to be open, be free. I mean, freedom is very much part of our culture. I think we want to be free. We want to express ourselves as well as we are very passionate. And I think most athletes are also, very inclined in terms of they're very artistic and they can appreciate good things in life. I mean, we like to live life well and enjoy. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and as far as resurrection events is concerned, I mean, it's been a challenge because UAE is not among the big star of the metal world, or you don't see big bands. But yeah, it happened in the past. But getting underground bands like brutal bands such as Cenotaph, or bringing in Preniotomy from Slovakia, or Unfathomable from UK. I mean, these are extreme bands who you don't have those kind of fans in Dubai, and they're limited. Yeah, it's great to put up a show like this. I mean, lots of people have loved it. I mean, and a lot of people have been inspired by what we've been doing as resurrection metal events here in Dubai. It's been amazing. I mean, so one more concert for the March Massacre to go, which will happen on the 18th of on Saturday of this month. So yeah, Unfathomable from UK will be headlining this along with Dusk from Saudi Arabia, as well as Abyss Mallory and Reprobate from UAE.
That's great, that you have people from different regions, or you could probably even say different continents. And firstly, thank you so very much for doing this event. So I think, we as metal fans, we definitely need to thank you for arranging resurrection events, so absolutely brilliant stuff. And thank you once again. And I think the listeners should know that we are doing this recording session on a Monday morning, which is the busiest working day. So that's, talks about the metal spirit that we have. You have a full time job, I have a full time job, yet metal still comes right number one
Absolutely.
starting the week. Now, before we get into the nitty gritties of all the bands that you're having, and March in particular is going to be absolutely phenomenal, can you tell our listeners, Vinod, a bit introduction about yourself, as in how did you get into the metal community? When did you move to Dubai?
Yeah, I mean, I started this journey in the late 80s. It was 88 or 89
Mhm.
when I, chanced upon seeing some tapes in my city of Bangalore in India. So it was a couple of Megadeth albums. I just saw the covers and I loved it, and that's how I picked it up. But before which I was listening to basically classic rock such as Doors, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, and Uriah Heep. These were my favorites. Once I started listening to Judas Priest, AC/DC, Iron Maiden, Metallica, and Megadeth, that's when I started discovering there's heavier life, heavier music in life as well. But what really changed my life, or getting into brutal death metal and death metal, was where I lived or where I came from. In my city of Bangalore, it's called as the pub city, but it's also not known for the number of colleges that it has. Bangalore has over maybe 100 medical as well as engineering institutions, and many of them are very close to my house. So what really happened was while I was listening to all these kind of music, there was a big burst of a lot of expats or Indian expats coming to these colleges to study from the US, from UK, Germany, from Malaysia. I mean, they were doing their medical and they were doing their engineering courses. And I chanced upon meeting a couple of them. They were already into the death metal genre. So they used to get their CDs from the US and UK. We had no access to CDs. So back in the days, it was only tapes and tape trading, whatever. So so that's how I got into really into death metal. And I never heard of any black metal or anything, but death metal, grindcore, napalm death, carcass. These were the bands, obituary. These were the bands I got into the early 90s.
This was during the mid 80s or early 90s, right?
Yeah, this was 89, 1990 precise. So I've been into this music for now 30 years, I guess.
Yeah.
So I was barely 20 and I'm 50 right now.
Oh, that's absolutely massive. And you still have the same energy, probably of a 20-year-old.
You've been a part of it. You were part of our Gutslit event. What do you
Absolutely,
think
yeah.
about it?
Yeah, and I think Vinod Varma is a face that you cannot, forget because he's always has the most brightest of smile. He's very welcoming, and he always acknowledges probably everyone in the venue. So absolutely brilliant stuff. But what I want to do is, Vinod, I want you to take us back to the moment where you heard your very first heavy metal song. Do you remember what particular song was that? And going back to the time, probably in the late 80s, I think that would be an iconic time to actually listen to heavy metal. What
Yeah,
was the very first song, the very first album that you listened to?
yeah. So like I said, until the late 88,
Mhm.
89, I was into classic rock, Deep Purple,
Yeah.
Uriah Heep. So my first song that I really heard, which was very heavy for me, was actually from the album called Power Age from AC/DC. And the song is called as Riff Raff.
Oh,
And that was one of the first heavy metal songs or first rock. Now it might be rock, but back in the days that was pretty heavy. And after which I heard Iron Maiden, Seventh Son of the Seventh Son. I
yeah.
mean, these were songs, or these were my first few songs that I heard, in my childhood days.
Now, what was the first international band that you ever attended to? This might probably go back to 1990s as well, if I'm not.
First international band that I saw was Jethro Tull. Jethro
Oh,
Tull
awesome.
came to Bangalore to play a gig in Palace Grounds. I think that was 90s or 91. I'm not sure. I think that was my first international band. Then I saw Deep Purple as well in Bangalore. I mean, these were the first two international bands that I saw in my city. And those days, you never see these big bands coming. But yeah, I was lucky to witness Jethro Tull and Deep Purple. Yeah, those were
That's
my first international bands.
That's absolutely smashing. And I remember in the mid 90s, I lived in Mumbai, India. And in Mumbai, India, in the metal scene, we used to always talk about the crowd in Bangalore. So what we used to always say that the crowd in Bangalore is very sophisticated, very educated in the sense they would appreciate a musician or whatever talent that they have. Whereas the Mumbai, we are more of a rowdy bunch of people where, we don't appreciate music that we don't like, we tend to swear at the bands. But there was always this notion that, bands would always like to play in Bangalore because they always got a positive response. So let's say if a band were to play originals in Bangalore, the reception was definitely much better to us, let's say Mumbai, because in Mumbai the crowd was definitely a bit rowdy. And this is going back to, I'm not sure if you heard about independence rock that used to happen in Mumbai.
Yeah, there is a particular reason. Again, I go back to the colleges. I mean,
Yeah,
we had like over 100, institutions from a lot of colleges who had college festivals. So
yeah,
all the students from all the colleges would attend the festival. It was a college festival. I'm sure you had that in Mumbai. But people were from all walks of life coming to study in Bangalore, whether they were from Mumbai, they were from Chennai or Kerala or Hyderabad or whatever. We had an amalgamation of people from various walks of life coming to study in Bangalore, and we were young, and there was no TV or television. There was no mobile phones. There was no outlet to, go and have a ball. So I guess, I mean, you can go to a few pubs here and there in Bangalore, but apart from that, I mean, music was a big part of the pub culture as well. When any pub you go to in Bangalore had a specific genre or whatever. So you had peoples which play classic rock, guzzlers which used to. These are pubs I'm talking about. Guzzlers had a mix of classic rock and glam rock. And you had bars like Sticks, which was really heavy. They used to play all the heavy metal as well as brutal death metal and death metal songs in that pub. So people used to often visit. So coming back to the live shows, yeah, so colleges were the main reason, and all the students found this as an outlet to go and enjoy the shows and have fun. And yeah, so that's the reason why Bangalore felt more sophisticated. And yeah, we mixed cultures, and we loved our music.
That is absolutely brilliant. That can clearly be displayed now because when we attend your gigs, you have the same passion, the same enthusiasm. Even when you're interacting with the bands, you have a very positive outlook, which I think is absolutely brilliant. And Vinod, you've been arranging gigs in Dubai for a very long time. So can you tell us the timeline of events? Now, when you moved to Dubai, what are some of the gigs that you arranged? And this could be even, let's say, DJing a couple of events. Can you
Yeah,
care to?
sure. I didn't move to Dubai in. I moved to Dubai pretty late in 2012. I first moved to Oman in 2004. So we had a local band there called as Arabia, who were like black death metal kind of band. So I arranged a gig somewhere in 2005 or six back in Oman, which is an unknown country, and in Muscat. We did it at one of the biggest hotels at the Grand Hyatt Muscat. We had a show for Arabia. I mean, that was the first gig that I organized in the Middle East in 2006. And we had a amazing reception, and lots of people turned up at that particular event. So from there on, I moved jobs, and I moved to Bahrain, which was another new country for me. I had a few friends who I had met at the Desert Rock Festival, and actually the journey was of Resurrection metal event started in Bahrain in 2010, along with another friend of mine from Bahrain. So that's where we started Resurrection events, because literally what resurrection means is we're resurrecting the metal scene here in the Middle East, which was dead and gone and buried, or there was nothing happening. So that's the whole idea of naming it resurrection events. So we started in 2010 in Bahrain, where we got bands like Nerve Cell to play in Bahrain. We got Perversion, which was another band from Bahrain, and we built the kind of community back in Bahrain where the local bands, along with the Dubai bands, played gigs, and that was a huge turnout. In fact, we created a DVD which was called the Bahrain Resurrection Metal Events Bahrain Underground. If you go on YouTube, you can see that particular show, which was the Resurrection event show, and it's online. It's there, and we did it at a bar called Vasco Charlie's. I don't think that exists. And then, yeah, Bahrain was the place where resurrection events took place. Of course, now the Bahrain side of the project is called as Metal Fest or Studio 77, and in Dubai we still maintain the name as Resurrection. So my first events that I started in Dubai was I did a gig in 2015. I think it was March 13th as of today. It is the same day, 2015. This was at the music room where I had got bands from across Asia. So I got Devoid to play here at music room, along with Stigmata from Sri Lanka. I had
Yeah.
Creative Waste from Saudi Arabia, and I had Matic Russ from UAE who played that gig, and Smoldering and Forgotten from Bahrain. So this was the lineup, and it was massive. I mean, there were like 600 people on that gig in 2015. But from there on, the rules of getting live bands changed, and you had to get a lot of government clearances, municipality fees. Um, so it was very taxing for promoters to bring bands from across the globe because there was a lot of investment involved. Firstly, with bringing the bands from different parts of the world, which costs the flights, the visas,
Yeah.
hotels, the catering and transport, etc. So there was a slight slide in, once the Dubai government announced that any live acts have to get permission by municipality and pay municipality fees and entertainment tax, etc. So after that gig, I moved into a little bit of playing music for the fun of it as DJ Vin.
Yeah.
I used to play at a bar called as Dugout. That's where I started my, you know, getting on the weekends. You have no places to go in Dubai. So me and a couple of friends, Philip Baiju, thought we should play some music at a bar where we want to go and have a drink or chill out with friends and have fun. So that's when I started as DJ Win at Dugout. I've played at many events and played music. I'm more or less of a playlist DJ, and just go by the group, the crowd, what they want, and I know what they like. Most of them who attend gigs, I know what kind of music they like. So accordingly, I used to play the music, and that went on for quite a while. I mean, I've been doing that from 2015, and then slowly I was getting into the Jam Nights series in 2018, 2019, where I used to invite bands to come and play, jam and get on stage and play some music along with me, playing some metal music as a DJ. I used to play some music for them. But then COVID hit and shit went out of the roof for 2 years or whatever. We couldn't do anything, whether it was a DJ metal night or any live music was not happening. But then luckily, things opened up in a bar in Barsha, where they said, guys, we've heard about you, and we want you to do something at our bar because it's been closed after COVID, and we have nothing. It was a bar called as Mix Bar at the Golden Tulip Hotel. So they gave me the opportunity to just play some music there, and they said, do whatever you want. This place is being unused. We don't have any customers. If you can bring some people in, we'll be glad to give you the place at no cost. So that's where I started doing some DJ nights and everything. I also felt that the crowd was wanting more live music than DJ music. So then I got bands like Mandirigma, who are a Filipino Pantera, cover band, who played at my gig. I got a band called Tabernacle. They play old school heavy metal. They played at my gig. Tribe Conspiracy, which is a Sepultura cover band, they played at my gig. So this started building some kind of a momentum in the scene where my music, along with the live music, I was excited. This is what I wanted. This is really what my passion was. A mix of DJ metal music along with live music. That combination was makes my weekend perfect. So yeah, I mean that was I took that and took that into the next level. I went to Bangalore and I met up with Amorphia, the band, trash band from Kerala, from a small city place in Kerala, Alapi. I mean, so I met them and they said, "Hey, why don't you do a gig in Dubai for us?" I was like, "I am getting bands from India." Was thinking of the cost and the thing. Why not? Let me try this. So I was looking out for venues across, and then luckily again, I found Liquids. Me and Philip, of course, he was part of it. I mean, he's been helping me out with all the gigs, with Resurrection events. We went checked out a couple of places, and we freezed on Liquids. So the Liquids owner said, "Yeah, yeah, please do whatever you want. We want crowd to come in." So um, I did like a test run on the 1st of October 2024, to see what kind of response I'll get for a DJ metal night. So that went well, and I announced a Morphe on the 8th of October 2022 at Liquids in Bar Dubai. It was huge. It was huge. I mean, it was the first gig almost after 2 or 3 years. I mean, we had a crowd of over 170 or 200 people attend that particular gig, which was the spark that I needed in my life, along
Yeah,
with my kids and my uh, wifey. You know, so that moved me on to bigger things and get bigger bands.
that's absolutely great, Vinod. And it is a bit surprising because I wasn't aware that you used to do gigs in Bahrain, Oman.
Yeah,
And the fact that, you had some really good bands because Perversion is one of my favorite bands. And it's so great to know that you had them back, probably more than a decade ago. Perversion and No Self, which I believe were part of the infancy stage. And I have to say that you're in a way responsible for making them kind of famous now as well. So, absolutely kudos to you. Another band that you mentioned is Creative Waste. Absolutely a brilliant band. And I was a bit surprised. I thought, you've been doing that only for the past few years, but doing this for well over decades, especially in the Middle East. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And now, regarding the licenses, do the licenses still exist after the COVID 19? Like, do you still have to get the municipality license, or has that thing eased down a
yeah.
little bit?
During COVID, they relaxed the license rules and things like that. But unfortunately, nobody wanted to travel during that time, and
Yeah.
so they had relaxed the rules during COVID times for 2 years. But now back in 2022, they're back with all the fees and entertainment tax and everything else. So you need to have these licenses fixed, which is pretty much challenging. Unlike in any other city across India or US or UK, as long as you can have a license of a company, you can do a show. But it's completely different here. There are different challenges with the bars, and so we need to follow those policies and strict rules and regulations so that it does not affect anybody in that sense. Yeah, it's been challenging, but I've been able to pull off over 15 or 20 gigs in the last 4 or 5 months.
And now to the big question, You're having Desert Inferno 8 March Massacre, which I think is probably, if not one of the biggest events in 2023. So, can you tell our listeners what is it, how many gigs are there, and what are the bands that are playing?
Desert Inferno was created when Morphia landed on 8th of October 2022. So that was our Desert Inferno 1. So the
Mhm.
idea behind that is to have a brand or have something similar to, can't compare myself, but yeah, something like a Wacken or a Hellfest or anything. We wanted a name which is synonymous with the desert and Dubai, and that's how me and Philip came up with the name Desert Inferno. So that's how the name came up, and we thought that's a brand that we could take forward for metal events here, along with resurrection events. So yeah, that was Desert Inferno, and the idea of the March Massacre was, keeping in mind that we have a very short period in March before Ramadan kicks in, and in after Ramadan it's summer and people have school holidays, and there's not going to be much of action happening after Ramadan. So maybe till June, July, if if the weather permits, if the heat permits, if I can say, there won't be an event. So I thought, let's do something which is on every weekend, instead of doing a festival over 3 days or 2 days or whatever. Every weekend, have one international band with local bands. Promoting local bands is also one of the big things that resurrection events always thought of. So we thought, okay, let's do something with an international band, give opportunity for local bands to play with international bands. Because that then in itself brings some professionalism to the local bands. They see how the bands do their sound checks, do their preparation for the event, and of course how they promote themselves on social media. Because if you're not on social media, you're nowhere as a band, or if you're serious about playing music, or music is passion. You're not on social media, you're nowhere. So I keep telling the UAE bands that you need to promote yourself on social media to be there, out there, and to be seen and heard. Otherwise, you will not travel. You will not go to Wacken or like any of the Indian bands. Most of them have played Wacken or played across events in Europe or Asia, or they've traveled across. They've done tons of tours in India, traveled to cities in India. I mean, this brings a lot of professionalism and more experience. And playing with international bands, you know what sounding like, you know what the crowd is, so you're well tuned with things. So March Massacre was a massacre. I mean, I wanted to create something really uh, uh, crushing. I can use that word. Yeah, I wanted a crushing metal event every week on week for 3 weeks, where Dubai hasn't seen anything like this. And I personally am into brutal death metal or slam and thrash. So I wanted something which people have some great memories, and and yeah, that's how Desert Inferno came up, and March Massacre is killing is my business, and business is good time.
That's absolutely awesome. And can you tell our listeners, on the 4th of March, who was the one who completely battered the stage and there was pure mayhem?
Oh my God! I mean, pictures speak louder than words. Is what I think. If you go back to the resurrection page on Instagram or on Facebook, you can see Gutslit just killed it in Dubai. I mean, it was massive. It was a carnage. I mean, with all the snow flakes exploding and people in the mosh pit slipping, falling. I mean, we were a community. We were trying pulling out people. I mean, it's great to see, and the venue like 23 Sports Bar, they really supported us along with PUBG Lounge in Barsha. I mean, that was insane. I mean, the kind of response that I got from the audience was just out of the world. I mean, there were 100 odd people in that pub, and everyone was going crazy, crazy. Gut slit. They killed it, mate. They killed it. You were
Abs-
there.
I was there, and I think I did listen to Gutslit exactly a decade ago, but this time what they played was absolutely brilliant. They just blew my mind away. And I was looking at the mosh pit as well. They had some kind of spray, so the floor was wet, which just made it so much cooler, so much more intense. The drummer was brilliant. The bassist was absolutely phenomenal. The guitarist was brilliant, but the vocalist Aditya Bharvi, he just absolutely ripped the stage apart.
That's guttural. He's amazing, along with Gurdeep and Aaron and Ishwar. I mean, they are a set band. They played international shows. I mean, it's all being professional. It's all being having fun and having brutality at the same time. And brutality, what I mean is by music, in the sense of music. I'm not a person. I'm a very good hearted, but I like my music to be loud and goofy. So yeah, along with that, having snowflakes and party atmospheres is that's what it's all about. That's what metal is all about. Having fun with friends and
Yeah,
people you don't know. It was a fun gig. I think it was by far one of the best gigs in Dubai has ever witnessed, without a
absolutely.
doubt. I've been to every single gig in Dubai, never missed a single gig unless I was traveling or whatever. But I don't think there was anything bigger than this, or uh, anything, any other bigger party metal fest than this. It was insane.
Absolutely 100%. They absolutely killed the stage. And what I like from your end, you were very welcoming. You were acknowledging people, who did actually appreciate the band. You were talking to everyone, giving them high fives, giving them a smack during the mosh pit as well. So, really like that when an organizer does that. It just gives the audience, sense of belongingness that they actually want to be there. Now take us back to the event that happened on the 11th of March, which is Godless. I think that was another brutal event as well, right?
Yes, just going back to the point that where you said, getting into the crowd and being part of the crowd. I'm first a metalhead and then a promoter. So for me, it's very important that I be a part of it and I enjoy it myself. Keeping all your egos aside. I mean, metal and ego, and these are some things that I personally don't like because I'm just doing it for myself and my friends and whoever wants to come. I mean, it's fun. It's not about some promoters getting the habit of thinking who's bigger than who. It's not about that or who's louder, who's bigger, who.
Yeah,
It's not about that. It's just getting in the pit, having fun, having a few beers with friends, having good memories because we all are not immortal at the end of the
yeah,
day. We're all going to move on, pass on, and only the memory remains. So
yeah,
it's just being humble, grateful is important as a promoter. I mean, that's a very important aspect for me as well. Yes, coming to the 11th of March. I mean, this was at PUBG at Barsha. Godless India never played Dubai before with a name like Godless. I don't think they will be accepted anywhere,
yeah,
So it was a big challenge for us to get in there. Even Abbas was like, "Will you be able to do it?" I said, "Just leave it to me, and I'll do it." So it was a challenge for me personally to get them here to Dubai because Abbas, who's the bass guitarist, a very good friend of mine, and so is Kaushal and rest of the guys in the band. So I said, "I'll do it." And, yeah, they came. They conquered, they destroyed PUBG. Literally, I mean,
absolutely.
it was insane. It was the same kind of reception that we got for Gutslit. I mean, the other point that I want to point out is Indian bands have gone miles and miles from those old days of Rock Machine and
Correct.
Shiva and Millennium,
Yeah,
or all these bands that brought rock music into the country, or they played this kind of music, but uh, the new gen or new generation of bands have taken a big leap forward, and they are out there like they are playing. Look at bands like Cryptos or
absolutely.
Godless, Demonic Resurrection. I mean, and also out of the blue, Bloody Wood. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, conquering the world. I mean, yeah, thanks to all the rock machines and Parikrama and Millennium. I mean, these are bands that, of course, brought it to the masses. But yeah, today's bands have taken that social media leap of having millions of thousands of followers and quite a huge crowd across the globe. Godless was great. We had Tribe Conspiracy they're Brazilians playing their cover songs of Sepultura, which was killer. We had a new band Iconoclash. They played some old school death metal inspired by Sarcophago and Celtic Frost, stuff like that. So they were great. We have Mandirigma, which is a Pantera cover band as well. They killed it playing some Pantera numbers. So overall, I mean, it was a fabulous gig. I mean, got to thank the metal community to turn up and show up and support and be a part of it. They're helping me in all ways that they can. I mean, promoting this on social media, and it was a fun gig.
and now the final gig that ends the Dubai March Massacre, which is happening on the 18th of March, that is Unfathomable Ruination. And I think what our listeners should know is that in all of the three headliners, there is some commonality with Gutslit, because the godless vocalist used to be with Gutslit, and Malaika, who was the vocalist for Unfathomable Ruination, has done a song for Gutslit as well.
I mean, it just fell in place. It was not planned or anything like that. I mean, I always loved Malika in Abnormality, where she was singing. I thought we will take it to the next step in terms of extreme music is something else. I mean, I believe that gender should not stop anyone from listening to metal music or whatever. You have female friend bands like Ark Enemy with Angela Bassau and whatever, but what Malika was taking was 10 steps ahead of Ark Enemy and Angela and Alicia from Ark Enemy. So I thought, I was thinking who could be the third band who could play on the 18th of March. I had listed out a couple of bands. Warbringer was one of them. Evil Invaders, who's playing on 17th of March in Bahrain, was one of them. And these were a couple of bands that shortlisted. But also shortlisted the band from India called Inner Sanctum and Chaos. But due to various reasons, they couldn't make it, or there were some challenges. So then Philip came up and said, "What do you think about Unfathomable? Why don't you?" I said, "Yeah, why not? I mean, let me try." And I wrote to Dan, and he said, "Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it. Took a couple of days. Let's do it." Was the answer, and I said, "Yeah." I mean, this completes a lineup. This really completes a lineup. But I also had to focus on the who are the local bands who are going to support these bands equally as well. It was tough. I threw out a challenge saying if any of the UAE bands or bands from the Middle East who want to come and join these guys to play a gig, to put an open statement on my Facebook asking bands to come to play. So Dusk was one of the bands who said we want to play with Unfathomable on the 18th of March. I said you guys are welcome, and yeah, so they are playing along with Abysmality, who are a brutal death metal band here from Dubai, along with Reprobate. Reprobate again has been kind of a home band. They played with Gutslit. They're going to be playing with Unfathomable. They're extremely good. I think they're one of the heaviest bands right now in Dubai. Of course, Legends are now Zelda there still, but yeah, Reprobate is making waves, so that's them. And yeah, I'm glad that Unfathomable accepted my invitation, and they did check around with other bands, I'm sure, to see because Craniotomy and Cenotaph have already played, so they know Gutslit as well. So I mean, I'm really happy that an international British band is coming all the way from there to Dubai to play this particular gig, and Malika living in Czech in Prague, also coming all the way from Prague to play this gig. It's an honor. It's really great to have them with me. I mean, the resurrection events, and I'm sure they're going to put up a great show, and it's going to be something to look forward to this weekend before Ramadan closes in on us. Yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic. I hope you're going to be there as well, mate.
100%. And I think having the band ending the Metal Massacre in such a beautiful way, I think it's definitely going to put a stamp. And I'm pretty much sure that other bands, international bands, will want to come to Dubai as well. And which moves, to my next question, from an organizer's point of view, what are the challenges that you're currently facing? Because Dubai is known for its lavish lifestyle, the posh and ultra luxury fashion, and we are talking about, the underground extreme metal music. So besides the challenges that you mentioned, that was to do with, getting licensing, what are the other challenges that you're facing right now?
Yeah, that's a very good question because to organize a gig in Dubai takes a lot of patience, a lot of time, a lot of energy, and of course a lot of money. I mean, first and foremost, biggest challenge that we have in Dubai is not having a proper metal venue. I mean,
Right.
so we used to have a music room which was great, which was had their all their backline, and they had all their PA systems intact, which was great for metal music, and it was all fixed. It was a great venue with a straight hall and things like that. So our biggest challenge today is a pub or a room or a hall or whatever which will allow us to play metal music. So most bars and most places in Dubai say heavy metal, no way. I mean, this was the reaction that I got from every place that I went. I must have scored maybe 20 venues across Dubai, and they had a lot of preconditions saying you need to get this many people, you need to have so much of sale, adhere to rules, there's no fights, music shouldn't be loud. I mean, the owner of the pub or the place that you're doing the event is already putting tremendous pressure on you before
Yeah.
even you finalize the band. I mean, this culture of heavy metal does not exist with the pub. bar owner. Like you said, they're more into doing the, Dubai style of events where they want glamour and fashion and they want the fast cars. And, what Dubai is known for, Las Vegas of the Middle East kind of
Correct.
living lifestyle, fast cars, fast. Everything is fast. And when they see something with black t-shirts and metalheads or black, and they're a little shocked. Maybe bikers coming in once in a while. This was not something that they want, and not what Dubai is associated with. But I've been able to pull off and convince the owners that give me a shot, give me an opportunity, let me do it, help me. There are people who want to do this. They want to enjoy this music. If you don't have anything on a specific day, a Saturday specifically, give me an opportunity and let me show you what is the support and how it is. And slowly. I mean, I did few gigs and they saw the crowd, saw the enthusiasm, they saw the passion in me, and seeing the crowds, they were impressed and they said, "Okay, we will give you slots at least once a month." So I had to keep rotating the venues because every
Yeah.
venue did not want to give me a chance every weekend because it's loud. Let's accept it. Our music is not for a common man or someone who comes to the hotel to have a beer or stays in the hotel. So they said we can help you do a gig once a month or whatever, but yeah, so I kept rotating it. This is my biggest challenge as far as venue is concerned. But apart from that, is also you need support. I mean, you need support in terms of putting up a show like this. You need help from your friends. So people like Philip, Carlisle, Jimmy, a few guys, Laura, a couple of them are really helping me out with this, trying to pull it off and make it a big success. Um, I mean, thanks to them. But yeah, I mean, still, people are not getting used to paying tickets and watching an international band. I mean, it's still the old policy of, oh, let me get in free, let me take a free ticket, or why should I pay at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock when I want to see the only the final band? I mean, as a promoter, I've invested money, and the only way that I could recover a part of that income is through the ticket sales, as you all know. So still, that is not an acceptable. It's not been accepted. Some people are, oh, why should I spend $100 for nothing? But they don't see the fun, or it depends. I mean, everyone has their right to do whatever. My second challenge is selling tickets. To the metal community itself. I mean, some of them didn't turn up. I mean, it doesn't matter as long as I said to myself when I step into this, I'm gonna do it for myself. I know I'm gonna do it for friends and few people who would love it, and I want to show or put up something that's unforgettable. So, in terms of the music, in terms of the crowd, so that's my second challenge. The third challenge, of course, always and everywhere is the sound, because the local PA systems in most of the pubs are very, very poor or poorly maintained. They have wires going all over the place. So the PA system is a challenge. The sound engineer, we don't have any good sound engineers who are doing metal music. This is another challenge that we have in terms of the music in itself, and a whole lot of issues associated with the venue and tickets. There's a lot of challenges that you have to go through. Sometimes it's also like the venue guys like, can you get me a T-shirt? Some silly requests like that. Then, oh, my venue on cable is missing. There are different challenges. Oh my, there is a stain on my venue wall and things like that. Some weird things comes up every now and then and every gig. I mean, now I've accepted it. I mean, I've said, what could be worse than this? What could be worse than this? I mean, there couldn't be anything. One time we had the security of the hotel stop us from doing the gig. The first band was up. The security stopped us. Yeah, so we were like, "Oh, what's wrong?" And anyway, we solved it with the owner and whatever. But yeah, we had. these kind of challenges. So, I mean, I won't be surprised. We had one time the snare broke at one of the gigs, and luckily we had a spare snare from
Yeah.
Cenotaph, and we could use it. So, things like these keep happening in terms of challenges. Yeah, but so far so good. I mean, it's been unbelievable. Eight Desert Infernos in the last 5 months. I mean, I'm sure whoever lived in Dubai who's into heavy metal music must have seen those posts or must have seen those ads across, running across. I mean, it's definitely created a wave, and this is what I wanted to do. Looking forward to the UR Unfathomable Ruination playing with Malika and Dan and Preston Boys. They're going to kill it. I'm just looking forward to it. Yeah,
That's
thanks to all the guys who turned up for these events. I'm not doing it for the money. It's just for fun. It's a weekend thing. I have a professional job. I have a small company of my own, running advertising and media, where I'm able to fund or do some side on my for my passion. So my main job is what gives me my bread and butter.
yeah.
This is just for the fun of it that I'm doing. Because you don't make millions in metal music or by being a promoter. At least in Dubai, maybe if it's Europe or some other country in the US, maybe yeah. But Dubai is fairly unknown for heavy metal music or death metal, or in fact, even worse, the underground scene, like across the globe, exists, but it's not going to make you rich.
And if this trend were to change, if Dubai does somehow, someway become the center of heavy metal or death metal, I definitely do think that you should be credited for it. Because despite all these challenges, what I'm really like when I'm talking to you is, you're taking these challenges just as an opportunity to go in and improve on things. And this again surprises me. You're always welcoming at the venue. Despite what might be going wrong, you're always welcoming to the people. No egos aside, you always have a friendly communication between the band members, even among people. So, Dubai once again definitely needs to thank people like you for doing this. And one thing which I'm noticing is when I speak to, other CEOs in startup, people have passion, but some of them are not good in following the passion. But in your case, you're passionate about it and you're good in what you're doing. And that's one of the reasons why, you can see some brilliant events, let's say like Gutslit, Godless, and hopefully on the 18th of March, it's going to be an absolutely another kick-ass event. Now, I have two questions which are not directly related, let's say, to the world of death metal and heavy metal. But the first one is, Dubai is right now the home of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and metaverse. Now, from an organizer's point of view, do you have any thoughts of, let's say, accepting cryptocurrency as a form of payment? So let's say rather than paying 100 dirhams, are you open to the idea of, let's say, people being with cryptocurrency and even paying the band members with cryptocurrencies, let's say like Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies? What are your thoughts on that? Or even for merchandise?
Definitely interesting. I mean, I don't know how I'm open to that. I mean, it's also I'm associated with venues. The venues have to also accept that and also follow the Dubai rules. I mean, if they have opened up crypto here, I'm more than
Yeah,
happy to and do that. I mean, along with the venues. So maybe we can do something. One of the first gigs to do cryptocurrency event. I mean, yeah, I'm open to that. I think it's good as long as the rules and regulations are correct and it goes in the right channels. I'm more or less it's good. It's good. It's good for the community. It's good for metal. It's good. It's easy. It's fast. You don't have the hassle of carrying stuff with you. So it's definitely something that can be looked into in the future.
and one commonality which I find in, let's say, Bitcoin and heavy metal is some of the OGs of Bitcoin, they've always been into heavy metal. Now, there is a company called as Pantera Capital. Now, in one of the
Wow.
interviews, he's actually said that he was the founding member of Pantera. That's one of the reasons why he has Pantera Capital. Now, he did not play any gig with the band, but he's still in touch with the old members of Pantera. and he has started a company called Pandora Capital. He said that this band's name or this company's name, Pandora Capital, which is a huge hedge fund, by the way, they've kept it in the band. One of my podcasters from What Bitcoin Did, he's a massive heavy metal freak.
Okay.
He goes to, download, he goes to Bloodstock, and, he's proper into heavy metal. So when you talk about heavy metal and Bitcoin, I do see a lot of commonality. Now, the next question, what I wanted to ask you is about, and this again is from an event organized point of view. I'm not sure if you heard about this thing called Metaverse. Now, Dubai wants to be the top 10 city in the world so far as Metaverse is concerned. And last year, Ozfest, they had the concept in Metaverse, and the review was absolutely phenomenal. So, what are your thoughts on, the heavy metal gig in the Metaverse essentially? What the audience or people would do is they will put on a VR headset. Now, granted that metaverse is at least a decade away from mainstream adoption, but what would eventually happen is that this might sound a bit geeky and crazy, that while you're sitting at home, you will be able to do the mosh pit, and surprisingly, you would actually feel that you're in the mosh pit. You might even be able to touch other people, and this might take at least a decade's time from now. But what are your thoughts on having heavy metal concert in metaverse?
This is. I mean, we're looking to the future. I mean, this is so unimaginable for me because I come from old school thoughts. But having said that, things have moved from the 90s. We've had during COVID, we did see some live concerts on Facebook and other platforms. So I don't see and it's going to be very personal as well. I mean, I don't think it's going to be very difficult. I think we might be seeing that in the near future because for whatever reasons, travel or whatever, maybe there would be a live community going to the gig, and there would be the metaverse community who will be watching at home and doing their mosh. This is what I think will be a combination of things because someone who can't go to Hellfest or Wacken and wants to see a specific band, I mean, Metaverse is a good opportunity for them to really feel and experience the whole atmosphere and everything live in their homes. I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, it's an incredible solution for someone living in, let's say, Bangladesh or whatever, to watch their favorite band on Metaverse. I mean, as long as the pricing is right, I think it's fantastic. I think, yeah, there is future in it, mate.
So hopefully Desert Inferno number 25. We might see it hopefully in Metaverse or something. That'd be pretty cool as well, right?
I hope so. I mean, Desert Inferno 25 will happen by the end of the year. I mean, we are
Oh,
already in the ninth, so
okay. Nice,
so
yeah.
I think it will be we hopefully be the 100th edition or something like that. I mean, that'll be really awesome to do it. I mean, a Metaverse version. Maybe have a big band. You know, let's say. I mean, maybe I made and whoever is going to be there. Have a metaverse version of the gig. Maybe we could do a Slayer or a DSI or whatever. And,
Absolutely. That'd
it'll
be
be
absolutely.
fantastic. I mean, yeah, technology is there. Why not use it? I mean, we as Maryland sometimes are not very. We're a little laid back, and we're like not really accepting new technologies and new things. But I think as metalheads, we should open our minds to accept Bitcoin, metaverse. I mean, this is where the world is moving into social media. I mean, these are things that metalheads never even realized or thought about. I mean, when I was growing up, we never even thought there would be YouTube videos and things like that. It was always the MTV Headbangers Ball. I used to
Yeah.
watch. Now I can go on a click of a button. I can watch any concert, any time of the year, which I never even imagined. I mean, and with a click of a button, listen to anything on Spotify or download an album. It's never used to happen. I had to go look for the tape or call a friend or do the tape to tape recording or it was crazy or burn the CD onto a CD. I mean, those were the old ways of metal ways of doing things. But going to the future, I think metaverse, uh, Bitcoin, social media is not going to die, and it's always going to explode and it's going to re-innovate itself and change the face of heavy metal and death metal and it will reach more homes. That's what I can say.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what it is. So yeah, open to technology. Use it.
And can you give inside scoop to Desert Inferno 9 and possibly 10? Do you have any bands in mind or any?
Yeah, Desert Inferno 10 is what I'm looking at. So hopefully that should happen in May. May, thinking of bringing this band from the US. They call it Warbringer.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
a US thrash metal band. That's on my cards as of now because I love that band. Or it could be Suicidal Angels from Greece. It's another
Yeah.
thrash band that I'm looking at. So either of these two is most probably in May for the Desert Inferno 10. Hopefully, that's what I'm thinking. If not, they could be maybe some heavier bands, but I don't want to just keep it always brutal death metal or whatever. I want to just mix and match. As a Resurrection events, we always do a mix of everything. We did Nirvana cover, we did the Iron Maiden cover band, we did Sepultura cover band, the Pantera cover bands. So it's going to be a mix and match of genres. I mean, that's just not going to be brutal death metal all the time. I mean, I also like to watch bands for thrash and death and normal heavy metal bands. So yeah, so Desert Inferno 10 is going to be thrash metal for sure. So that's what I'm looking at.
And I believe recently you also had a Nirvana cover band as well, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we just wanted to see because it was Kurt Cobain's birthday or something like that around that time. So we
Oh,
thought, let's do it and try and capture the essence of some songs and have fun to it. Yeah, it was good. We have the Iron Maiden experience. Maiden Arabia played all the Iron Maiden numbers. I mean, yeah, these are things that Resurrection Metal Events Dubai will keep doing on and off whenever possible. Just to get a flavor, different flavor to your burger. You can't eat the same burger all the time. Yeah,
absolutely.
you need to add some cheese and chocolate,
And one
whatever.
of the fun questions that I have later on is to do with, a different genre of music. But before that, what I wanted to ask is, Vinod, if you had an opportunity to meet one musician, who would you like to meet and why? Just one musician.
Uh, Two people. I'm hopefully meeting one of them in August at Wacken. So for me, since I got into brutal death metal. I mean, I wanted to meet him because I could not believe there exists a person like this. And his name is Glenn Benton from
Oh,
DSI.
absolutely.
Yeah, so he is someone I want to meet. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing him because he was something else when DSI were putting up their first few albums. And
Abs-
the other guy that I want to meet is Chris Barnes from Cannibal Corpse. I mean, he was one insane vocalist. I mean, all credits to these guys for having the new wave of slam death metal. I mean, Chris Barnes was one of the originators of real guttural death
yeah,
metal style of singing. And so, yeah, for me, Chris Barnes and Glenn Benton inside.
absolutely, absolutely brilliant choice. Now, the fun question that I wanted to ask is, and I want you to be honest, besides heavy metal or death metal, which artist do you prefer? And what is your go-to song? Now, if you want, you can tell you like K-pop, or if you like any Korean pop music, you're more than welcome to say that as well.
Oh, having kids at home, I quite often listen to Barbie Girl because my
That was
little
during our
one,
generation, though. Yeah.
yeah, my little girl is 3.5, so I listen to that and listen to some school rhymes and school songs. What would be the band that I want to listen to? I mean, uh, really, I don't know which one to really answer. I don't have a choice on that. Sorry, like
Ed Sheeran or Adele or any other bands that you like.
any of the bands that is. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the latest, the new trend bands like pop bands and things like that.
Anything.
I wouldn't mind meeting that dude from Korea. What is his name? That Gang Gangnam. That
Gangnam Style something, yeah.
that guy was crazy, man. I mean,
Even recorded Massacre.
Gangnam Style. What was
Yeah,
that? That fellow
I
was a sensation.
I really
Out of the
recorded.
blue from Korea or whatever he came from. I mean, I can just think of him, just to, meet him would be insane. I mean, he was
Now,
one weird.
no, my niece is obsessed with K-pop music.
Okay.
Non-stop listens to K-pop music. And all of a sudden, I was listening to Dying Fetus. She came to the room and she was like, I really like the sound of music. Like this is what death metal is. So yeah, I mean, so any final thought that you have, to tell our listeners about Desert Inferno March Massacre?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great to organize it. It's been fantastic. I mean, the more people hear about it, more support will be there for Mel in Dubai, especially in the UAE. I mean, this is also something which will help the country. I mean, open up to new visitors, new people, new bands coming in, will generate revenue for the hotels. This is something. Dubai is not just a capital of fashion and glamour and everything else. So, we have the scene here. We have a lot of expats. We have a lot of people from across the globe, from you can say from Brazil to Australia to France to India to whatever, listening to this kind of music. I mean, I have a WhatsApp group on my as DJ Win and Resurrection events, where people from all across the world, all across living here in Dubai. I mean, if they miss something, whether it is food, whether it is their culture, whether it is music, it should be available in Dubai. So I think metal music in Dubai is here to survive, here to flourish. I'm sure people who listen and been to my events will definitely love it and also support it in the future. And I'm sure more such events will happen. And thanks, buddy.
Absolutely. 100%. Thank you so much, Vinod, for doing this. Really, really appreciate it. And once again, thank you so much for doing everything for the Dubai heavy metal community as well. And what I'll do is in the show notes below, I'll go ahead and mention all of your details, the WhatsApp group. I'll also go ahead and mention all the bands that will be performing on the 18th, as well as all the bands that have performed earlier on as well. So all of your contact details, the show's social media details, everything I'll go ahead and upload it in the show notes. Thank you so very much, Vinod, for doing this. Really, really appreciate you. Stay brutal.
Yeah, thanks for the support and thanks for having me here on your podcast. It's been fabulous. Thanks for making it and thanks for doing it. Look forward to seeing you at the Desert Inferno, March Massacre 9 with Unfathomable Ruination, mate. Thanks. Cheers, mate.